Hello and welcome to Big Orbit Games unboxing video of the latest X-Wing expansion, the C-ROC cruiser. My name is Simon and I'll be doing the unboxing today. So this is the new epic or huge ship for X-Wing for the Scum faction. So it's their first epic, which is really cool. So what I'm going to do today is open it up, we'll have a look at what you get inside, all the bits and pieces you get. Not really any in-depth guides or anything into it, it's just going to have just going to show you what is in there. So as you can see, you've already got the ship in there showing you from the back. Unfortunately, it's a bit too big to get completely on camera. Here we go, I'll hold it upside down so you can see. So in here you're going to get a whole host of upgrade cards, not only for the actual C-ROC cruiser itself, but also for the Interceptor, the M3A Interceptor, the SICK that comes with it as well, which is really cool. So let's just try and get everything out. There's so much stuff here. So boxes and boxes of stuff everywhere. So right, let's open this up. Let's see what we've got inside here. So, right, loads and loads of stuff. As you can see, loads of different cards there, although we do also have a damage deck in there which adds out of it. You've got the base for the cruiser. You've got the ship token for it. That's the word I was looking for. You've got the ship tokens for the M3A as well. You've got all the little counters you need, and the manoeuvring tool for a huge ship, because it uses a slightly different manoeuvring tool. So, as always with FFG, you're getting every single counter you could possibly need to be able to play this ship and the little ship that comes with it. You also get in here, here we go, this is Smuggler's Lament, so this is the campaign you get in there. So you get these campaign sheets in there, which are quite useful. Don't throw them away, these are very fun things to play through. So open it up and you've got the structure it goes through, like the different ones, the different missions and stuff you can play. They're quite fun to go through. I do highly recommend them if you don't want to be playing competitive X-Wing or something all the time, or just generic, oh let's just fight. Missions are really fun. So you get the fold-out book here, so another useful component which most people overlook. You've got your complete component list. I mean, look at that. There's so much in here. Not only have you got all the stuff with the large ship, you got 30 upgrade cards in total. So much stuff. But you also get the rules on how to use a huge ship, which is very useful if you've never used one before, because you've got things like energy, how you use the manoeuvring tool, the reinforce and recover, like how target locking, jamming and stuff works for it effectively, because it's all a little bit different. And a few more rules on huge ships, like if you overlap it, you basically take damage. Yeah, and then there's just a couple more rules on things like modifications and dual cards. And then Smuggler's Lament, the campaign, so how to play through that. As you can see, there's loads of stuff there, so plenty of stuff to be using there to play with. Got the base for it here with the two giant stalks. Fun thing to do, by the way, tip, is put a large ship on those. Everyone will love you if you do that. Then we got the small flight base as well for the SICK. So here we are into the actual cards themselves, so let's take a look. So, I'm going to split this up a little bit. Let's take a look at the C-ROC itself. So, we just have the one card for this, the C-ROC Cruiser. So, here we go. So, 4 energy, 0 agility, surprise, 10 hull and 4 shield. It's not the strongest thing ever, but loads of upgrades across the bottom. You've got the crew, the team, the cargo upgrades, stuff like that. So yeah, it's actually one of the, I think if memory serves, it's one of the cheaper epic ships. So yeah, it's an interesting one, but there's a lot of stuff you can do, there's a lot of upgrading and modifications you can do to it, and that's very fitting with the theme of it being, a mech ship. There should be a lot of modifications being done to it. We then also got in here the damage deck. So as you can see at the bottom, it targets either the fore or the aft of the ship. So just damages the front or the back of it. You can see from the back, there we go, which half affects which half, depending on where you've taken the damage. So yeah, I mean, I say that's pretty much it in terms of the core bits you need for this, for flying it, and then we're on to the actual upgrades. So what I'm going to do is what I'm going to do is just sort of split these off into the huge ship only. There we go. So, yep, so these ones are So this is normal. Ooh. As you can see, you get a lot of copies of some of these stuff, but we'll go through it all properly in a second. So there we go. So this is the stuff that is just for the huge ship, just for the C-ROC, or the C-ROC. I am just going to call it a C-ROC. So we have the title card. So Broken Horn gains you +2 energy, costs 5 points. When defending, if you have a reinforced token, you get an additional evade result, but then you discard your reinforced token. So simple there, but it just allows you to have a little bit of agility. Insatiable Wart, which has probably the best name of any title I've seen. -1 energy, which is unusual. Only costs 1 point, but after you perform the recovery action, gain 3 energy. So fully energizes the ship because it's got 4 energy, normally -1.3. So yeah, that one's, it's actually weirdly, despite the -1, it's probably one of my favourite ones. And Merchant 1. So this costs 2 points, it gives you +1 energy. Your upgrade bar gains the crew and team upgrades in addition to its normal ones, but it does lose a cargo upgrade. So it just means you've modified some of that open cargo space to allow yourself to have a few more crew members and stuff. It just fits really well with the theme of, you know, modifying and altering the ship, which is what the Scum and Villainy should be doing. So, we're now on to some of the actual upgrade cards. So we have Optimized Generators, which is 5 points, and once per round when you assign energy to an equipped upgrade card, you gain 2 energy. Pretty neat, huh? We have Automated Protocols. Once per round after you perform an action that is not a recover or reinforce action, you can spend an energy to perform a free recover or reinforce action. Oh, useful. 5 points, but it's a useful ability. We have IGRM Thug Droids, which is so cool. They cost 1 point. When attacking, you may change one of your hits to a crit. And I wish these were available for normal ships. Unfortunately, it's a team upgrade rather than a crew upgrade. Boo. We have Supercharged Power Cells, which cost 3 points. They are limited. And when attacking, you may discard this card to roll 2 additional attack dice. Bonus, you know. Extra dice, always useful. That takes an upgrade slot, cargo upgrade slot, and you get 2 of those. Quick release cargo locks. Quite a common thing releasing cargo in Scum and Villainy at the moment. Costs 2 points. This one can also go on the GR75, which, you know, it is a cargo transport for the rebels. At the end of the activation phase, you may discard this card to place a container token. And I'm assuming the container token can then explode and do other things. Heavy Laser Turret, who doesn't like HLTs. 2 energy, it's 4 dice, range 2 to 3, which is kind of short ranged for an epic ship. 5 points, it's for the C-ROC only, and it's an attack. Spend the 2 energy from the card to perform the attack against one ship, even if it's outside your arc. So it's just, it gives you a 360 turret, basically. And then we have Azmorigan. So 2 points. And at the start of the end phase, you can spend an energy to replace a face-up crew or team upgrade card you have equipped with another upgrade card of the same type of equal or fewer points. And that just opens the door to a lot of shenanigans. Now, I mean, we're going to see a card that's very similar to this for standard dogfighting. But yeah, it opens the door for a lot of shenanigans and cool stuff to do, which, you know, again, very on point with the theme with this one. So that was all the huge ship only stuff. So here we are on to some of the more, the stuff that you can use in standard dogfighting games of X-Wing. So let's put these to one side for a sec. Let's do this in a slightly different order. There we go. So we'll do it in this order. So we'll have a look at some crew first. So we have Cicatro Vizago. I think I've pronounced that right. Probably got it horribly wrong. He's a 0 point crew card. Interesting. He's Scum only, and at the start of the end phase, you may discard this card to replace a face-up illicit or cargo upgrade card you have equipped with another upgrade card of the same type of equal or fewer squad points. So you can use this in normal play for the illicit. So there's some interesting interactions. The catch being it has to be, you can discard this card to replace a face-up illicit card or upgrade card, another one. Yeah, so the points, you have to sort of be careful with the points of it, and you've got to use up Vizago himself to be able to do it. So there's a few catches and stuff to it, but otherwise, it's really interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing what sort of interactions people come up with for this card, because there's a lot of shenanigans you can do. I think there's one at the moment to do with cloaking devices and stuff. So yeah, it's an interesting one. We then have Jabba the Hutt, finally made his way into the game. He's 5 points, but he does use up 2 crew slots, which is very fitting, or ill-fitting. When you equip this card, you place an illicit token on each illicit upgrade card in your squad. When you're instructed to discard an upgrade card, you discard the token instead. So this is things like, if you remember the name, it's like Hotshot Blast or something. Things like that is quite useful for this. So yeah, it's quite a cool card. I think there's going to be, it's a very required list to run this, to justify those 5 points for it, and double crew slot to get those extra tokens. You have to basically be running a ship which has Jabba on it, and then like a swarm of other ships to justify it, but still nonetheless quite neat. Here we have the Arccaster, so let's just get this the other way around, because this is a flip card. So here with the Arccaster, it's 4 dice, it's only range 1, it costs 2 points, it's Rebel and Scum only, they like sharing, Imperials aren't allowed anything. Attack, so you attack a ship, and if it hits you must choose one of the ship at range 1 of the defender to suffer damage, then flip the card. Really good against things like swarms and stuff. Aces not so much because they tend to be split up, but against things like swarm, boom. And now we will flip them all back over. So at the start of the combat phase, you may receive a weapons disabled token to flip this card, which means you're not allowed to fire it until the end phase. Until the end phase. At the end phase, you remove the weapons disabled token, so you can shoot it the next turn, basically. So yeah, it costs 2 points. It's quite an interesting card. It's not absolutely amazing, but it still can be quite devastating in the right hands, I feel. So you get 5 of those in there. So plenty to be going around with. So we do have a alternative paint scheme SICK in here, so the M3A Interceptor. So you get one of the heavy SICK Interceptor title cards, which is for most people considered almost a default include, although you're about to see an upgrade card that changes that. Haha. So it's 2 points. It allows you to have a cannon, missile or torpedo upgrade, but only one of them. And it also increases your hull value by 1. So it just makes it that little bit tougher. And it was considered, like I said, one of the default things to take. However, we now have the brand new Light SICK Interceptor title card. So it's minus 2 points instead. However, all damage cards doubt you are dealt face up, but you get to treat all bank maneuvers as green maneuvers, and you can't upgrade with modifications. So there's a couple of downsides there, in the fact that you're always taking crits. You can't have modifications on you, so you can't have, for example, I was about to say like shield upgrade or hull upgrade, but you can't have, anything like that on there. But you do get to treat your bank maneuvers as green maneuvers, and it does reduce your points cost by 2, allowing you to sort of do swarms with them. I think it's going to start seeing a lot more play now that we've got the got this title for people to play with. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in there, just double checking. I have heard of people getting misprints with 7, so, but we have got 6 of those title cards in there, enough to do a swarm with. We also get a pulsed ray shield. So this is a 2-point Rebel and Scum only again modification, and poor Imperials get no love from this one. During the end phase, you can receive an ion token to recover a shield up to your shield value. You can equip this card only if your shield value starts at 1. So basically, the SICK and the Hawk are the two main ships that are going to be able to actually equip this card. It's quite useful being able to recover that shield, especially if you've got, especially because the amount of hull on these things, they tend to be quite flimsy. It's very useful to be able to regain that shield. Receiving the iron token actually isn't always that bad. Your opponent now knows you're going a 1 forward straight. However, there isn't a 1 forward straight on the dial for the SICK. So it does mean, it allows you access to a maneuver you wouldn't normally be doing, and you can still shoot and stuff. So timed right, this is very, very powerful for the ship. And you get 5 of those in there. So at the moment, I think it's pretty much just the SICK and the Hawk. I think there's 1 or 2 other ships that can use it, but those are the 2 main ones that would probably want to use it. But to note, it's a modification, so you think, oh, use it with the Light SICK. Light SICK says you can't use a modification. So yeah, it's really for the heavy SICK or for running it as normal. So let's take a look at some of the actual ships we get here. So for the set, you get the Genesis Red for the M3A Interceptor. Comes in at 19 points, pilot skill 7, it's 2 attack, 3 agility, 2 hull and a shield. Only elite pilot talent upgrade on that bar there. However, actions, you're getting focus, target lock, barrel roll and evade, so plenty of actions. And the ability, after you acquire a target lock, assign focus and evade tokens to your ship until you have the same number of each token as the locked ship. So yeah, so you target lock your opponent who's, you know, been gaining a couple of tokens this turn, especially if they're like in a tiny mind link or something. The best one being a hawk with Moldy Crow if they've been stacking those tokens up. But yeah, so then you target lock them and you might gain, you know, a focus or an evade or a focus and an evade. So it's a nice little additional bonus to the target locking, which is useful. You're more than likely going to use that EPT to put on Veteran Instincts, make it pilot skill 9 to make sure that you're target locking after your opponent has activated and gained those tokens. That's going to be like the deciding thing to do with Genesis Red, I feel. Then we have Quinn Jast. 18 points, so dropping a point here, also dropping a pilot skill for it. The ability is at the start of the combat phase, you can receive a weapons disable token to flip one of your discarded torpedo or missile upgrade cards face up. However, if you notice, you've only got the elite pilot talent upgrade icon on the bar, so you kind of have to take the heavy sick title card. I get the feeling that's the only reason they put that upgrade card in here, was because they wanted to print this one and they needed to you need the title to use the ability. But yeah, another quite useful one. Being able to get discarded cards back is useful. It's one of the reasons I don't like using discard is because I usually use them at the wrong time, so being able to get them back for me personally is really nice. In Aldra, 15 points, so a little bit more of a drop this time, but we also drop all the way down to pilot skill 3. However, when attacking or defending, you can spend a shield to re-roll any number of your dice. So yeah, what it says on the tin, re-rolling is always useful. Combine this with a pulsed ray shield to ensure that you're getting that shield back, because you've only got one, you've only got 2 holes, so it's a bit vulnerable. Then we have Sunny Bounder, who has a really cool camo pattern on the ship there. We're all the way down to pilot skill 1 here, bless. 14 points, and once per round after you roll or re-roll dice, if you have the same result on each of your dice, you may add 1 matching result. So this does also count if you're only rolling 1 dice, which is quite cool. So you effectively, all your single rolls automatically become double rolls, quite cool. But yeah, combine this with, like, there's no EPT unfortunately for re-rolling, but if you can find a way to combine this with something that allows you re-rolls, then hopefully you can sort of increase the chance of being able to trigger this ability. And then we have just the generic Tansari Point Veteran for 17 points, and the Cartel Spacer for 14 points at pilot skill 5 and 2 respectively. Just nice and cheap, though I imagine if you're going to swarm, you're probably going to focus on like the Cartel Spacer and swarm with those. Especially if you do the light stick, they become 12 points each then. So yeah, so there we go. That is all the cards that you get in there. Loads of cards, loads of stuff to play with. Obviously, it's very focused on the M3A Interceptor, which you get in there. Understandable, but the Pulse Ray Shield and Jabba, they're going to be interesting cards to see played in other ways. And then everything else is focused on the C-ROC itself. So, speaking of, should we take a look at the model? So, this is a big boy, so give me a moment just to get it out of the packaging. Oh, the M3As are already fallen out. That's not a good start. So, let's try and get this out without destroying everything. So, there we go. A little bit of gentle persuasion, out it comes. As you can see, it's a big ship. Personally, I really like the design of it. I really like the shape of it, the design of it. I think it's really cool looking. So that's how it does. Nope, that doesn't turn. Does that one? No. Does that turn? No. Oh, the little turret at the bottom does. So there we go. So let's take a look at it overall. Paint scheme looks pretty good. I like you've got the coloured bits of cargo container just to add a little bit of spot contrast to what otherwise would have been a very boring shape to look at, because it's just like a sand camo pattern, which is weird for the depth of space, but yeah, it's just the silhouette of it's really nice. I mean, underneath you can see lots of detail is on the sculpt there. which is one thing I like, is FFG always make sure that every part of the ship is detailed, even the bits you're not really going to look at very often. And you can see the cannon, there are loads of satellite dishes everywhere. It would have been cool to see upgrade cards that played off of that a bit more, like the communications aspect, but yeah, so as you can see, it's a pretty big ship. No engine colours in there again. It's the only bit they ever fail on. And I do like that the front of it's like a dirty, muddied nose. But yeah, so that is the ship. I really like it. I think it's really cool looking. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to pop it down on the table just because it is so big. I'm going to compare it to one of its equivalents, which is the GR75 transport. So this is them down on the table. Let's just line them up a bit better. So that's them right next to each other. There we go. Sort of nose to nose. As you can see, lengthwise, this is only a tiny bit longer, but it's much taller and a bit wider in its presence. So you can imagine this one carrying a lot more cargo. So there it is compared to the GR75. It's kind of cool. I mean, the back profile of the transport's pretty bland and boring, whereas the C-ROC's cool. So yeah, and then let's compare it to the good old Tantive. So I'm going to put the Tantive down. I'll put the C-ROC down so that their noses are lined up, and you can see already, you can see like it's off the camera slightly. Unfortunately, they're just too big to get completely on camera, but here we go, there we go. Let's get it there, and we'll line up nose to nose, which will go back to back. There you go. Back to back, lined up, because there's a little bit that protrudes past the engine. And there we go, you can see it's a good inch or so longer than that one. But in terms of the rest of it, it's probably about the same dimensions. It's, you know, sort of the same height, it's the same width. I think what really adds to the bulk of the Tantive is these giant engines, the 8 giant engines, whereas this has got the 5 smaller engines on it. But no, the design's really neat. I do like them, and they almost look like they'd have come from a similar family, which is good. It means they don't look too mismatched. And again, the Rebels and Scum seem to have a bit of a nice affiliation with each other. But yeah, overall, really like the model. Really cool. Really inspires you to play Epic, I feel, just so you can see it on the table. It's probably going to have more of a utility role than a gun running role, but that's absolutely fine. You can't have all the ships just being giant gunships. So there we go, so there we go. Nose on. So yeah, so there we go. Let's have a look at the M3A Interceptor. Unfortunately, I don't have a normal one to show you the difference in the colour scheme, but personally, the colour scheme is not that different. So there we go. So let's see, the mould is exactly the same. It's just the colour scheme on it. I'll show you the underneath as well. They've just done this striped effect, which I think is one of the cards in the artwork, from the artwork of one of these cards we've got down here. So, there we go. Like I said, unfortunately, I don't have the original one to show you, so otherwise I'd very merrily do the comparison. I think it's Quinn just has this colour scheme, unless it's sort of like a default style, like, you know, these are all from this thing. But yeah, there we go. So yeah, so there we go. That is everything you get in the C-ROC Cruiser. So it's effectively, there's obviously a huge focus on Scum. There's a huge focus on the actual M3A Interceptor in terms of standard play. The C-ROC itself looks like it'd be good fun to play in Epics. It's a bit more of a huge support vessel from what I can see, rather than a gunning ship. So that's always useful. And I think the only downside to this expansion is the fact that for Imperial players, there's not really anything to play with. It's definitely for Scum, which it's fair because this is the first huge ship for Scum. Also on the flip side, there's a little bit of play for the Rebels in here. It's just the Imperials who lose out, sadly. But yeah, so there we go. That is everything you get there. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them below. Remember to like and subscribe. Check out the other X-Wing videos. Also, everything you've seen here today can be bought and sold as individual components on our website. So have a look on bigorbitcards.co.uk. Check that out. Otherwise, I hope you have enjoyed watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.